Hello, and welcome back to Human Behavior Lab. I'm New York, your host and observer of the psychological structures that shape our world.
And I'm Juan. Today we're diving into something that I think affects way more people than we realize. Why do people fall for scams? I mean, we all think we're too smart for that, right?
Precisely. And that belief, that we're immune, is actually one of the psychological factors that makes us vulnerable. Today, we'll analyze the structural mechanisms behind deception, trust, and why anyone, regardless of intelligence, can become a victim of manipulation.
That sounds fascinating. I have so many questions already. Let's get into it.
Let's begin with a recent case. Sheriff's offices across multiple states have been warning the public about circulating scams. These aren't the obvious emails from foreign princes anymore. They've evolved into sophisticated operations that exploit our deepest psychological tendencies.
I feel like everyone thinks they'd never fall for a scam. But then you hear about doctors, lawyers, even tech professionals getting tricked. What's going on there?
An excellent observation. The assumption that scam victims are somehow less intelligent is what psychologists call the fundamental attribution error. We attribute others' misfortunes to their character while attributing our own successes to our intelligence. In reality, the most sophisticated scams target our cognitive blind spots, not our intelligence.
So it's not about being smart or dumb, it's about... what exactly? Mental blind spots?
Correct. Every human brain operates with cognitive shortcuts, what we call heuristics. These shortcuts help us make quick decisions, but they can be exploited. Scammers don't need to outsmart their victims. They simply need to trigger the right heuristic at the right moment.
That's actually kind of scary. So these shortcuts are built into how we think.
They're essential. Without heuristics, we'd be paralyzed by every decision. But let me give you a concrete example. When you receive a call from someone claiming to be from your bank, your brain doesn't verify their identity from scratch. It uses a shortcut. Authority figures can be trusted.
Okay, but surely there's a point where we question things? Like, if something feels off?
That's where modern scams become particularly insidious. They're designed to bypass that questioning phase through what we call cognitive load manipulation. When your brain is overwhelmed with information, emotion, or urgency, your capacity for critical thinking diminishes significantly. Let's examine one of the most powerful psychological mechanisms, authority bias. This is our tendency to attribute greater accuracy and trustworthiness to statements made by authority figures.
I mean, that makes sense from a societal perspective, right? We need to trust doctors, police, teachers.
Absolutely. Authority bias evolved as a social coordination mechanism. In complex societies, we can't verify every piece of information ourselves. We rely on trusted institutions. However, this creates a vulnerability that scammers exploit through what's called authority impersonation.
So when someone claims to be from the IRS or a bank, our default setting is to believe them?
More precisely, our default setting is to not disbelieve them. The famous Milgram experiment demonstrated this disturbingly. Ordinary people would administer what they believed were painful electric shocks to another person simply because an authority figure instructed them to.
Wait, that's intense. So we're basically programmed to obey authority?
Programmed is a strong word, but we are strongly socially conditioned to respect authority. Scammers understand this implicitly. They use official-sounding language, reference legitimate institutions, and create what we call trust signals, logos, badge numbers, case reference numbers, all designed to trigger our authority compliance response.
And I guess technology makes this even easier now? Anyone can fake a logo or a caller ID.
Precisely. The digital age has democratized the ability to manufacture authority signals. Caller ID spoofing, professional-looking emails, cloned websites. These tools lower the barrier for scammers while maintaining the psychological impact on victims. Now let's discuss another critical mechanism, urgency and scarcity. These are powerful psychological triggers that scammers weaponize. When we perceive something as limited or time-sensitive, our decision-making process fundamentally changes.
Yeah, I've definitely felt that pressure when booking flights or buying concert tickets. Like, only 2 seats left at this price.
Exactly. That's the scarcity principle in legitimate marketing. But in scams, it serves a darker purpose. When someone tells you your bank account will be frozen in 24 hours unless you act now, that urgency is specifically designed to prevent you from thinking clearly.
So it's like, they're trying to make you panic?
Panic is one manifestation. The broader concept is cognitive load. When you're experiencing strong emotions, fear, urgency, excitement, your brain's processing capacity is consumed. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for critical thinking and decision-making, becomes less active.
So when you're panicked, you literally can't think straight?
Neurologically, yes. The amygdala, our emotional processing center, can override the prefrontal cortex. This is what psychologists call an amygdala hijack. Scammers deliberately induce this state through threats, urgent deadlines, or promises of extraordinary rewards.
That's really unsettling. It's like they're hacking our biology.
In a sense, they are. Another vulnerability is what we call consistency bias. Once someone makes a small commitment or takes a small action, they feel psychological pressure to remain consistent with that choice. Scammers use this by getting victims to make small, seemingly innocent decisions first. Let's zoom out and consider what these mechanisms mean for society at large. We're seeing an interesting development: schools joining lawsuits against social media companies over addiction concerns. While this may seem unrelated to scams, it touches on similar psychological vulnerabilities.
How does social media addiction connect to scams? They seem pretty different.
The connection lies in how technology amplifies psychological manipulation. Social media platforms use similar mechanisms: variable rewards, social proof, fear of missing out, to keep users engaged. These same mechanisms make people vulnerable to misinformation, financial fraud, and emotional manipulation.
So it's like, we're being trained to be vulnerable?
That's a provocative way to frame it, but structurally accurate. Our digital environment conditions certain cognitive habits: immediate responsiveness, emotional reactivity, trust in visual interfaces, that can be exploited by bad actors. The infrastructure of modern communication creates new attack surfaces for deception.
That sounds pretty grim. Is there anything we can do about it?
Understanding is the first step. When we recognize these mechanisms, we can create what security experts call friction, deliberate pauses that allow our prefrontal cortex to re-engage. Simple practices like never acting on urgent requests immediately, verifying through official channels, and discussing major decisions with trusted others can significantly reduce vulnerability.
So slowing down is actually a defense mechanism?
Precisely. Speed is the enemy of critical thinking. Scammers know this, that's why they create artificial urgency. By normalizing slowness, verification, and healthy skepticism, we build structural defenses against manipulation.
I think the biggest takeaway for me is that falling for a scam doesn't mean you're stupid, it means you're human. These are built-in psychological mechanisms that we all have.
That's an important reframing. Victim blaming serves no analytical purpose and actually prevents us from understanding the structural nature of deception. The most effective scams work because they exploit normal cognitive processes, not because victims are flawed.
Any final thoughts for our viewers?
Remember, your brain's shortcuts exist for good reasons. They help you navigate a complex world efficiently. But recognizing when those shortcuts are being exploited is crucial. If something feels urgent, if you're being pressured to decide quickly, if you're told not to discuss with others, those are signals to pause. Your skepticism is not cynicism. It's wisdom.
That's beautifully put. Thank you for this deep dive, New York. And thank you to our viewers for joining us on Human Behavior Lab. Until next time, stay curious, and maybe a little skeptical.